Right / Kappa League program that we have. That program is a program that was started many years ago, and about the early 1960s. They began a program of trying to bring young men into our fold via the Kappa Leauge program, and the motivation for that Kappa Leauge program was to help these young men get into college and help them to achieve higher aspirations in life. We're excited that Mr. King has allowed us the opportunity to be a part of his school, the Barack Obama Green Charter High School. He's given us an opportunity to interact with some of these great students that we have. I want to say right at the outset, your young men that you have are just some of the most outstanding young men I've had an opportunity to interact with. They're very intelligent. They're very thought-provoking. They ask intelligent questions. And as far as I'm concerned, they're all college material. And I think I should know I've been to enough college and have enough degrees after my name to justify me saying that. I think that these guys are outstanding. So right at the outset, let's give your young men I'm going to not belabor this again. We are the Kappa Leauge program, and today is our induction ceremony. We'll have this induction ceremony here, and then in the fall we'll have another one for the new class of inductees. Okay, I'm gonna introduce some of my Kappa brothers that are here with me. First, we have the pole mark of the Plainfield chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi, Mr. Kevin Medley. We have one of my dear brothers and a member. He also heads up our Feed the Homeless program that we do at the YMCA. Once a month at the YMCA, we feed the homeless. And this brother heads up that program. It's Parnell Bryce. And this is my true partner here, co-chair for the Kappa League / Guy Right program. This is an attorney in New Jersey, an outstanding individual, my right-hand man, my wingman. This is none other than attorney Kurt Rhodes. Myself, you know, I'm Frank Flores. I also like to introduce to those who might not know, and those who know, none other than Mr. King. Yay! Yay! The hardest working man in education in Plainfield. Right now, we're going to go ahead and have an invocation. We're a religious-based organization, well, Christian-based organization. So we start off our ceremonies and end them with a prayer. I hope that doesn't bother anyone. No. Just remain silent if that's a problem for you. No. Brother Bryce will lead us in prayer.
Amen. Amen. So we can remove our hat, please?
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you. You know better than that. We want to thank the Lord for this day, Lord. We want to thank the Lord for the sunshine. We want to thank the Lord for all these young men who are doing something with their lives. We asked the principal if the newspaper was here, because the newspaper ought to be here. But they're not here, but we'll let them know what a good job the parents are doing for these young men. We'd like to ask God's blessing on everybody, ask Him to continue to bless us. And while I'm here, I want to bless the food that we're going to have afterwards, that we're going to receive within our body, that it nourish our body to do His will and His good. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
You want to talk about his stuff?
Okay. At this time, we're going to have some remarks from our pole mark, Mr. Kevin Medley.
Parents, students, I just want to say welcome to our first Kappa League pinning ceremony with our chapter. I'm just looking around, I'm just amazed. You guys are good at it, James.
Indeed.
I've toured in Plainfield almost 17 years, and to see you young men look the way you do, I gotta give it to you again. Just want to say welcome and thank you for being here, and I know you guys are going to do excellent in the future in your future endeavors. Thank you.
Okay, at this time we're going to have some remarks from none other than Mr. King from the Plainfield Green Barack Obama High School. What can I say? I think I've probably met all the parents and family here already. Your students are doing remarkable. First year, and these guys are really doing tremendous things. And I want to thank you, because it takes a lot of hard work, dedication. You know, everybody's busy. And let me tell you, it really will count. You know, like Dr. Flores, I've been to a few colleges, good reasons and bad reasons, and I've seen how the prep work in the beginning helps so much. So you have every reason to be proud of your sons right now. Okay, and I want to thank Dr. Flores and Kappa League and Kappa Alpha Psi for really being a part of our growth and development. All right, so enjoy the ceremony. It's just the first of many things that they'll be accomplishing. So make sure you record it and share it with your families. Thank you.
The rolls on your
I was reminded by my distinguished brother, Kirk Rose, attorney, that our purpose of Kappa Alpha Psi, our fundamental purpose, is achievement in every field of human endeavor. That is our fundamental purpose. So that being our creed, you can obviously see how this, spawned the development of the Kappa League program. I'm also going to say some brief remarks in a brief speech, and I hope you can bear with me for just a second. Some have told me I can be long-winded. On this occasion, I'm going to try not to be. But I'm going to bring to you 3 points, 3 major points that I think make an incredible difference in somebody's life. So some might say, well, let me start off by telling you a little bit about myself. My name is, as you know, Frank Flores. I hail from Hempstead, Long Island. I went to high school at Unionville High School, and just like many of you, I was matriculating prior to high school, just kind of meandering, not really sure what I was going to do with my life. And I went to my guidance counselor, and my guidance counselor told me at that time, when I was in 8th grade, getting ready to go into 9th grade, he said, looking at the grades and looking at all of the things that were presented in front of him, my grades on tests, my grades in classroom performance, he said, Frank, you're not college material. He says, I'm just going to lay it out for you, Frank. His name was Mr. Feeney. I was sitting there with my mom and my dad, and he basically told me, Frank, you're not college material. We think that you really should probably be in a vocational program somewhere. You probably do just fine. You know, that's where you really need to be. You know, you're not college material. Well, at that time, I looked at my mom and dad's face, and I could see they were visibly upset. They were, they had high dreams for me, high aspirations for me, and I was definitely falling short at that particular point. So, what happened at that time was a transformation. I got some lemons, and I turned those lemons into lemonade. What basically happened is the news that I had received was bad news. It wasn't good news. It was bad news. And if I had internalized that, who knows where I would have ended up. But instead, I took those lemons that I had received on that day and turned them into lemonade. When I went into 9th grade, from that moment forth, I made straight A's through high school. I was on the honor roll every single semester during high school. And the rest is history. I went on to Morehouse College and received my BS in biology, minor in Spanish, and then I went on to UMDMJ Medical School and got my degree in medicine, and went on to do my residency at St. Barnabas Hospital in the Bronx in emergency medicine. And now I run a company. My company is called Urgent Care Medical Associates. We provide emergency services to the inmates of Rikers Island. We have four medical doctors that work with us that are my employees, and doing pretty well, But if I had taken that information that I received on that day and internalized it, and didn't realize that that wasn't the truth, and didn't realize that what was going on at that particular time wasn't really reality, or if I had internalized it and made it my reality, who knows where I would have ended up. So my point to you today, my first point to you today is, number one, you need to dream big. And I'm saying this not only to the students, but also to the parents. You need to have big, huge dreams. And I mean, they gotta be the kind of dreams that are just, somebody might say, well, that's ridiculous, that can't happen. Because I can remember when I was working at Paul Corporation in Glen Cove, one of my coworkers, I was a microbiologist at that time, and I had finished Morehouse College and had my BS in biology, and I had basically told one of my colleagues, one of my white colleagues, that I wanted to become a doctor. And he told me, he said, that's impossible. And I said, not only that, my current girlfriend at the time wants to be a lawyer. They said, oh, that's ridiculous. What do you think, you're the Huxtable? I said, well, wait a minute. Yes, this is reality TV. I'm not only a doctor, but my wife is also a lawyer. So your dreams, your big aspirations can really come true. You need to dream big. You need to dream outside the box. You can't have a minuscule dream. A lot of times I tell individuals, you know, when they say, I want to be a doctor, I say, you just don't want to be a doctor. You want to own the hospital. You know what I mean? Somebody says they want to go on the sales. You don't want to be a salesperson at Walmart. You want to own the Walmart. So that's what I'm talking about, dreaming big. It might sound crazy. Somebody might say, that's crazy. Why would you even consider that? But I'm going to tell you, there's people like a young lady who, you know, was on welfare, didn't have a lot of money, she was poor, she actually got molested, and now her name is Oprah Winfrey. You know the rest of that story, I don't have to tell you that. There's a guy that was living in prison for over 30 years, and he came out, and who would have thought, he became a president of a country. How can you even imagine that something like that can happen? Nelson Mandela. These things happen. These are true stories. These are not made up stories. And at the time, if they had told somebody, I'm going to be president, you can imagine Nelson Mandela in prison telling somebody, I'm going to be president. Somebody said, you're crazy. You're out of your mind. But I'm telling you, big dreams are really happening. And so you need to have a big dream in your life. Point number two, and this is very important as some people just enter the room, current circumstances are not predictive of future conditions. Current circumstances are not predictive of future conditions or of future outcomes. I say this is really important because a lot of times we're meandering in where we are right now, the right here and now, and we say to ourselves, oh my God, how am I going to get out of this situation? I don't know how I'm going to get out of this situation. I'm in a situation and I can't see my way out. But the fact of the matter is, and I'm here to let you know today, there's somebody that can help you get out of that situation. There's no question about that. And for me, I had been in those circumstances many times. Maybe I didn't do well on a test. Maybe I didn't do as well as I could have done on an exam. But that particular exam did not or was not indicative of the overall outcome. What I'm telling you today, gentlemen, is that you might say, well, I'm a 9th grader or I'm a 10th grader at Barack Obama. I don't know where I'm going. Maybe I'm doing C work, but I really feel like I'm an A person. You know, what you got to do is put some rubber to the road and get to work, because that's really what makes the difference. You know, somebody might tell you, you're no good, you can't do it, it's impossible. You got to tell them, no, my current circumstances don't indicate where I'm going to be in the future. That's right. Could you imagine somebody telling Oprah Winfrey, there's no way you can own a network. It's impossible, you're a black woman, it's impossible. Could you imagine somebody telling Barack Obama, president? You've never had a black president. Are you out of your mind? You're crazy. What are you talking about? Well, if he had believed that and internalized it, much like Mr. Feeney was telling me, he never would have been president. Never would have been president. So current circumstances are not indicative or predictive of future outcomes. One of my classmates from Morehouse College is here. I would imagine he would say, well, when I saw you up in the dorm many moons ago, over 30 years ago, I would never predict that I would see you here today wearing a red jacket, a Kappa Alpha Psi, and a medical doctor at that. But there you go. It happened, right? So you cannot predict based on what's going on right now what your future is going to hold. But what I'm telling you is get back to point one, you got to dream big. If you're not dreaming big, something's wrong. You got to have a big goal and a big aspiration. Finally, before I sit down, I got to leave you with one last point. We live up to our expectations. We live up to our expectations. And this is really directed at the parents. One thing that happened to me in my life, and one of the most important things, is that my parents had high expectations for me. The looks on their face showed that when we were sitting in that classroom with Mr. Feeney telling me that I should go to vocational school. My parents had high expectations. No, 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 I don't believe that. My son, I'm expecting him to be a medical doctor. That's the expectation. So what do? We live up to those expectations. If you have low expectations, guess what? Well, you end up falling down to those low expectations. You have to have high expectations for your son. I was just, prior to coming here, had the opportunity to speak to none other than Mr. Kearney's father here, and he said, do you know what my son wants to become? And I said, I didn't remember at the time, but he had told me before. He said, my son wants to be a surgeon. He wants to be a medical doctor. I said, wow, I do remember now that he told me that, because that was one of the first things he told me. And those high expectations are the kind of things that he's going to constantly in his life be pursuing. And those are the kind of aspirations you need to have. So, in closing, I'm telling you, and I'm challenging you, to push your kids to the maximum. Push them when they don't want to be pushed. Make them get up and go to school when they don't want to go. You know, you cannot be complacent. You cannot waddle in mediocrity. You have to say, like Mr. Kearney told me, failure is not an option. And I'm going to leave you with that. And we're going to move on. I think we have a quorum. Is that correct? I think we have a quorum. We have the gentlemen would like to give him some.